It is a measure of the government's regard for the democracy that has been tweaked on her watch that Jacinda Ardern didn't drop that word into her speech to the Mount Albert Anzac Day service. No, I think it seems that democracy is a word that she refuses to acknowledge and to certainly use. More than a century after the first Anzac Day commemorations were held in 1916 in sober remembrance of those who had been involved in the Gallipoli campaign. This annual recognition of the service and sacrifice of New Zealanders in war remain equally significant, and we take pause to recognise all who have returned from service and all who have been lost to us. This is what she said. She said that. And she carried on, Anzac Day is a time to give thanks to today's armed forces who strive to uphold the values we hold dear as they continue to serve in areas of conflict overseas. Now, point of order, this is a watch group. Point of order, delve back 2019 to find mention of democracy in a ministerial speech on an Anzac Day. On that occasion, the speech was delivered by Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Peters at the Danish Institute of International Studies in Copenhagen. Peters, leader of the New Zealand First, is no longer in office to impede Labour's constitutional reconstruction as its coalition partner, but it seems he is still champion of democracy because he recently declared the insidious creep of the racist, separatist, secretive co-governance agenda that must be stopped now. In Copenhagen, he explained that Anzac Day was the day on which Kiwis and Australians commemorate the sacrifices made by our servicemen and women over the last century, and more in the pursuit of freedom, he said. Winston Peters continued saying, a great number of New Zealanders lost their lives during 2 world wars fighting to defend Europe from tyranny and from fascism. It is therefore a privilege to speak today in Denmark, a thriving, peaceful and innovative democracy with which our country New Zealand shares so much. Peters did mention the value that drives us, including democracy. New Zealand is one of only 9 countries with an interpreted sequence of democratic elections since 1854. But now, as Deputy PM Grant acknowledged only yesterday morning, our government, yes, our Labour government, our Labour Maori government, is adapting core democratic principles to ensure a better outcomes for Maori. Can you believe that a Deputy Prime Minister of New Zealand could even utter those words, those disgusting, disgusting words, that he is prepared to see the democratic principles be removed so that he can continue the separatist movement that Maori have their own right to live in this country, when we have the majority of New Zealanders who certainly have as much right to live in this country, and we do not want to see the democratic principles, and we don't want to see Christian principles either, removed from our day-to-day administration. How disgusting this lot are down in Wellington. How disgusting is this Ardern government with this Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robinson. What a fool of a man. What an evil, evil group those people really are. And then you look at people like Willie Jackson. What an evil, grasping, lying bully that little prick truly is. And this is the group of people who are removing and cancelling out our democratic principles, something that we have family forebears who went off to fight for those democratic principles, and these crapo, these lowlife, these scumbags down in Wellington, such as this Grant Robinson, Ardern and the rest of them are quite prepared to cancel out the democratic principles